Sonic 2 was a fantastic game that improved on all the shortcomings of the first game, delivering a tighter, faster and much more fun experience. A year later we got the follow-up, Sonic CD, and it felt like a massive step backwards. After the release of Sonic 1, the team split into two. One half focused on creating Sonic 2, the other half focused on Sonic CD. Whilst one of these halves learnt from their mistakes, the other half instead doubled down on most of the issues of the first game, delivering an experience that feels improved in some ways, but suffers from a lot of the same issues as the first game, along with new ones. There's 3 ways to play this one, either through the Sega CD, but who the fuck even owns one of those, the Sonic Gems collection, or the 2011 re-release. For this video I'll be looking at the re-release as I think it's the best way to experience the game. The re-release lets you play as Tails and also lets you toggle between 2 different soundtracks. The game opens with an incredible animated intro by Toei, I don't fucking know how you say it, Animation, showing Sonic running around and giving us our first proper glimpse into the character of Sonic within an actual game. So cool. Sonic CD plays in almost the same way as the previous 2 games, with one slight change. Pushing up on the control stick and tapping the button allows you to do a super P-lap. Don't really understand the idea behind the name, but whatever. This move works in almost the same way as the spin dash, but you get a much faster speed boost, with the downside being that you can be stopped by enemies or boxing. In terms of control, it feels right. It's still the same formula, there's not really any issues there. There is one major difference when compared to the previous games though. One that cannot be ignored.
Time travel!
Each zone has a past, present and future. This is actually an awesome idea, but in execution it doesn't work too well. You start each level in the present, and whilst doing your usual running around from left to right and sometimes 3D,
wow,
you'll pass by signs stating past or future. This then appears in the bottom left corner of the screen, and upon building up enough speed, you get transported to a different time period. The coolest thing about this is that it actually transforms the entire level. Obviously the colour palette is different, but there are subtle changes to each level. Obstacles are different or removed, alternate paths are opened, and in the past you can find machines to smash, preventing the bad future at the end of each zone. Whilst it's awesome to basically have 3 variations at each level, the execution of this leaves quite a lot to be desired. If the level design of this game was similar to that of Sonic 2, there wouldn't be an issue with building up speed. This game, however, is just filled with endless amounts of bullshit to slow you down at all cost. Constant spikes, enemies, walls, springs that bounce you into spikes, what the fuck? The level designs are clearly not built around this concept, and it shows. One stage even resorts to just giving you springs set up next to one another so you can build up speed. They knew you had no chance of doing it any other way. This is the thing with CD, the level design is determined to slow you down and just be annoying. Constant dead ends and springs pushing you into traps in the wrong direction just lead to levels feeling annoying rather than fun. Like, look at this one right near the end of the stage. What the fuck is even the point of this? I'm not saying that I just want to press right for the entire level and win. Sonic 2 managed to avoid being completely trivial in terms of difficulty whilst allowing you to do that. It's not like CD is even difficult anyway, so all of these things just feel like padding. And it's fun at a basic level, as I mentioned earlier. It controls like a typical Sonic game, but the level design feels like it's working against you constantly, which just drags the entire experience down. In terms of level variation, we have Green Hill, but not quite, Stardust Speedway, the one where Sonic goes tiny, and Labyrinth Zone 2, oh god no, please.
oh fuck.
Actually, it's not that bad. This game also introduces Amy Rose and Metal Sonic, both of whom would become staples of the franchise later on, but in this game they do fuck all and they appeared twice. Much like the previous games, you can collect Chaos Emerald Time Stones. There are 7 of these that can be obtained through the special stages. Comparing these special stages with the previous 2 games, these are easily my favourite. They take place on a 3D course where the goal is to destroy UFOs. Depth perception is an issue with these stages, but I would consider it a step up from the previous games. In terms of bosses, this game has the most pathetic and trivial boss fights of the series so far. Boss fights are definitely not the strong suit of this series, seeing as the ring system allows them to be cheated fairly easily, but this game really does drop the ball in this regard. However, that being said, the Metal Sonic fight, which might not even be considered a proper boss battle, is interesting because unlike other bosses, it actually uses speed as part of the design. You race Metal to get to the end of the level, with Eggman following with an insta-kill death ray. It can actually feel quite intense at points. Well, I guess that's the last we'll see of him forever. Death is a permanent thing, he'll never come back from that, especially for a robot, he's fucked. Ultimately, I feel like I don't really have a lot more to say regarding this one. It's definitely not terrible, but it's hard for me to really have much to say. I played through the game twice, and I'm just left thinking that was a game that I just played. It's really underwhelming in my opinion, especially when compared to the last two games, and even taking Sonic 2 out of the equation, it's not much of a step up from the first game anyway. I'm not really too sure how to close out this video, so fuck off!